Yeah, hi again, Eli. This time what I've tried to do is I'm just going to use you singularly. I'm not going to use a model to show you, and there's plenty of other models that you can look at in some of the clips I send you, and also on my Facebook page, which is called Sunshine Coast Elite Surf Coaching. So if mum or dad have got a Facebook page and they allow you to go in and have a look, I can tell you there's no bad content in there. It's all pretty good stuff, and there's lots and lots of really good instructional videos that myself and Jeff have put up there for you. So I'm just going to go through here, and what I want to talk about here is basically, your forehand surfing. Important to have a think of this. I need you to think about narrowing your stance, and that's going to be a hard thing to implement and change. One hint I will give you, and I've tried this with many surfers, is I just take off around about a foot width of wax away from the front of your board. So that prevents you from trying to get your foot up too far up the nose. Now, it's not a huge problem, but it is a problem, and we need to work on it. The next thing is to commence your turn earlier, and the other thing is rotate your trunk to face towards the beach. So I'll explain those as we go through. So I'll go back here. So when we go through this, if I have a look here, and I'll pause where appropriate, if I look here, we can see at that point there, and if I take a drawing here, and I draw where your feet are, one leg's there, the other leg's out here. Now that's a really good stance if you were trying to commit to an air, or basically an innovative or progressive maneuver where you're getting your board above the lip line. We're not ready for that yet. And so really ideally, your back foot is not too bad, but what I'd need is your front foot to probably come around about here. It's not a huge difference, but it is enough. So what would happen here, and I'll show you the next time I see, is that what it would allow you is to stop being so straight leg on the front leg. The front leg's very, very straight. And so what you really need to do is to shift your weight from front foot to back foot by actually bending your knee and shifting through the hips. So that would be the first thing I'll be looking at. The next thing is, as you come here off the bottom, you can see now what I'm talking about, that straight leg. You're actually coming up here. That front arm there has had little movement. It's risen just a little bit, which is better than a lot of people, trust me, but it should really, by this time, instead of being there, it should really be up here. The other thing you should think about at this stage, where your board is now, you should already be starting to think about rotating through your turn. So rotating early, once your board's above there, you should already be thinking about getting your board to rotate through this angle here. So it's a matter of initiating that maneuver or that part of the turn earlier. So what happens is, because you're very straight legged, you come up here, and all you're going to do is just go off the back of the wave. Because what's happened is you've tried to initiate the turn now by raising your arm, yeah, and your head has started to turn just a little bit. Well, what you really should be doing here is, if I drag back just a little bit more, is before you get there, you get to here. Let me just get rid of that there. Yeah, so when you're here, if that leg was bent a little bit more, so I'll see if I can draw that for you. So if that leg was bent just that little bit more here, what you would end up doing then is both arms would rotate. So you'd be lower, your trunk would actually come around here like this, and you would be swinging your arms that way. The only way that's going to happen is if your head's looking down that way as well. So the main thing here is, we've got to narrow the stance, we've got to bend your front leg, and we've got to then, that'll allow you to rotate your trunk through by rotating through with your arms, and where you look is where you go. That's a really important thing. If you are looking here, that's where you're going to go. It's a bad drawing there, sorry about that, but I think you get the point. If you are looking here, that's where you're going to go. Does that make sense? I hope so. So I'll just finish it off, and you can see what I'm talking about. You just get stuck there, and then you think all of a sudden, hang on, I better turn. But it's a little bit too late. And so in the end, you end up just going off the back of the wave. So there's a few things to think about there for me. The main thing is we need to make sure that we can narrow that stance. Take that wax off the front of your board. It will work. Trust me, a lot of people do it. Concentrate on that. And then we're going to have to look at bending your knees so that you can shift your momentum from your back foot through to your front foot by shifting your hips and rotating your trunk. So what I'll do is I'm going to hook you up with a few different clips and just go through them one by one, have a look at different types of surfing, and hopefully you'll be able to pick up a fair bit from that. And I'll see you Tuesday, and hopefully we can work on a bit more.